In Brawl in Cell Block 99, Bradley, played by Vince Vaughn, a former boxer, loses his job as an auto mechanic and his difficult marriage is ready to end. At this juncture in his life, he believes he has no choice but to act as a drug courier for an old friend. This improves his status until one fateful day when he discovers himself in a gunfight with a bunch of police officers and his own brutal accomplices. When the dust settles, Bradley is seriously injured and imprisoned, where his opponents push him to conduct violent acts that turn the jail into a vicious battleground. Spoilers ahead! Today we are going to review the crime action movie Brawl in Cell Block 99, released in 2017. Bradley Thomas, portrayed by Vince Vaughn, a former boxer and drug runner, is laid off from his employment at an auto repair business. As he approaches his house, he notices his wife, Lauren, played by Jennifer Carpenter, sitting in her car talking on her smartphone. Bradley walks up to her and notices a love bite on her neck. Lauren admits she has been seeing someone else. Before severely dismantling her automobile with his bare hands, Bradley orders her to come inside. When he is relaxed, he goes into the house to address their faltering relationship with Lauren. Bradley agrees to forgive Lauren and re-enters the drug trade. 18 months later, Bradley and Lauren, who is now expecting their first child, have relocated to a larger and more expensive home. The new assignment comes from Bradley's superior, Gil, who also provides him with an introduction to Eleazar, a new business acquaintance. It has been arranged for Bradley, along with two of Eleazar's other henchmen, to sail offshore in order to retrieve a shipment of crystal meth. Bradley does not have faith in Roman, who is physically the larger of the two men, but Gil convinces him to take the job by promising him 3 months off for paternity leave. As they get closer to the pier, Bradley, who has a sneaking suspicion that they are about to walk into a police ambush, throws his bag into the water. Bradley tells the other two people to do the same, but they disobey his command and get into a gunfight with the police, which ultimately results in the injury of 3 officers. Bradley has a momentary pause before deciding to help the authorities by shooting both of Eleazar's men, after giving this some thought. The gunfight took the life of the third person involved in the narcotics trade. Bradley is taken into custody and given a sentence of 7 years in a facility with medium security. Lauren is kidnapped in the middle of the night by guys obeying Eleazar's orders and acting alone. On the second day of Bradley's confinement, the Placid Man approaches him and reveals to him that he works for Eleazar. Bradley is informed of this information. He tells Bradley that the legs of his unborn child will be medically amputated and sent to him if he does not kill a prisoner named Christopher Bridge, who is being held in Red Leaf Correctional Facility, which is a different maximum security facility. Bradley is aware that this man is threatening him. Bradley agrees to do it, reluctantly. At this point, Bradley makes the decision to engage in combat with a large number of guards until he is ultimately victorious, at which point he is taken to Redleaf. There, he has a nasty meeting with the warden, Tuggs. Bradley is being held captive in a filthy cell that has a toilet that is backed up. Yard work will provide him with his first opportunity to enjoy the fresh air. After getting into confrontations with other convicts, Bradley is finally sent to Cell Block 99. This happens after a former inmate tells Bradley that Christopher Bridge is not in this part of the jail, but rather in a different wing called Block 99. Warden Tuggs reveals that Cell Block 99 is where he thinks up unique punishments for the most heinous offenders in society. As a kind of punishment for the brawl, Bradley is ordered to wear a stun belt that, when activated, delivers electric shocks to him at the click of a button. The walls of his cell in Block 99 are covered with shards of glass, and there is just a hole in the ground for him to use as a toilet. Bradley has a conversation with a man who is incarcerated in the cell next to his, and the man tells Bradley that Christopher Bridge does not, in fact, exist. During the night, a young and aggressive guard by the name of Wilson transports Bradley to another, bigger cell in Block 99. This new cell is where Bradley will meet Eleazar, Roman, and 2 other gang members. Bradley is subjected to severe torment at the hands of the gang, who beat him with electric belts and threaten him by saying they will call an abortionist. It is necessary to pull him back to the cell because he has been beaten and stunned to the point that he is unconscious. Bradley comes up with an idea and rips the lining out of his shoes. He then puts the rubber that he removed from his shoes in between his body and the belt in order to absorb the shocks. Because of this, he is able to set up an ambush for Wilson and another guard, which ultimately results in him killing Wilson. Bradley puts the second security man in solitary confinement. When Bradley faces Eleazar, the latter's 3 goons fall victim to Bradley's brutal hand-to-hand combat skills. Eleazar places a call to the Placid Man and gives him instructions to trigger the abortionist while the fight is in progress. Bradley begins his act of torment on Eleazar by fracturing his leg, and then he contacts the Placid Man in order to negotiate the release of Lauren. It has been decided that the Placid Man will transport Lauren to Gil's residence. In order to keep Eleazar company while he waits for news of Lauren's release, Bradley takes him through the shattered glass into his own cell. When Warden Tuggs and his soldiers arrive at Block 99, Bradley warns that he will kill his 2 hostages if they interfere with his plans. Bradley explains that he is now awaiting a phone call and makes a solemn vow that he will give up peacefully precisely 1 minute after the completion of the phone call. Eleazar gives the Placid Man and the abortionist orders, and they comply by transporting Lauren to Gil's house in a safe manner. Gil finds a concealed assault rifle and uses it to murder the Placid Man as they are driving away from the scene. After that, Lauren grabs the weapon and she ends up shooting the abortionist. Gil calls Bradley on his cell phone to let him know that his family has been found safe. Bradley has one last conversation with Lauren, during which he expresses some thoughts to their unborn child. After Bradley has destroyed the mobile phone, he informs Warden Tuggs that he still has 1 minute, 60 seconds to enjoy his freedom. Eleazar is beheaded when Bradley decapitates him by shoving his head into the squat hole and repeatedly stamping on his neck. Eleazar's severed head is found at the bottom of the toilet. Ultimately, Warden Tuggs and his men make their way into the holding cell. Warden Tuggs gives Bradley the command to turn around and place his hands behind his head. Bradley utters the phrase, 78 days, before turning to confront Warden Tuggs and his security personnel. After Bradley casts his final glance towards Tuggs, the latter pulls the trigger twice, striking Bradley once in the heart and once in the head. After the 3rd shot, there is a sudden blackout on the screen, and the sound of Bradley's body striking the ground can be heard. The movie ends here. I hope you enjoyed the recap. Please be sure to like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and turn your bell notifications on for more brilliant film recaps. Thank you.